Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy MumboElite, and today, do I have a story for you? I'm going to be telling you the worst, and I mean worst, and I can't emphasize this enough, worst date ever. I don't think there could be anything that tops this. If you think of something or if you had a worst date, let me know down below. But yeah, let me get right into it. Alright, so I guess I have to set up a little bit how the high school I went to operated, because I feel like most high schools are kind of the same, but I don't know. I was kind of that in-between kid throughout high school. So I had two parts of it. So freshman, sophomore year, the first half, where I was like innocent, shy kid, trying to get as far as you can in soccer. And then junior to senior year, read, where I just became like this asshole, but not like huge asshole, just enough to get girls to like me. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down? So this story takes place my sophomore year. This is kind of, I would say, the event that got me to become an asshole, because I was just done being nice after this point, to be honest with you. But anyways, I was a soccer player, and there's this girl on the girls soccer team that seemed pretty cute, and I was kind of into her, but I didn't really think anything of it. So one day we were all practicing together just for fun, no coaches there, and I realized she had a lot of common friends that I did. So we ended up watching the World Cup soccer games in 2014. We went to a similar friend's house and just kind of hung out there, got to know her, got her Snapchat, and then one day before practice, she was actually the one who made kind of the first move on me. She sent me a snap and said, "Hey, my parents are out of town. It's their honeymoon. You should come over." So at this point, I've never gone to a girl's house before, so I was super excited. You know, her parents are gone. I'm thinking I'm about to have the time of my life. So after practice, I pack my bag up, go home, shower, get ready, pack some much needed supplies, and I head over. And she kind of lived down in the country, so it was a little bit of a drive. And when I got there, knocked on the door, and I was greeted by her dog, which, I love dogs, but this dog, just jumped on me, started biting me, just wasn't a good entrance. And she's like, "Oh, hi, sorry about that. Yeah, my dog's a little crazy." Little did I know, she was way crazier than the dog, but we'll get to that in a second. No, no, no. We'll get to that now. So I think most people have heard of the hot to crazy scale, right? You can be X amount hot and X amount crazy. But like any sort of math equation, it kind of has to add up, right? If a chick is not as hot, but a lot more crazy, it's just not adding up. That's not a situation you want to be in. And if the chick's really hot, you have room for a little more crazy. But if you break that, I don't know exactly what the requirement is, but you know it when you see it. If a chick is crazy and she's hot, you are trapped. You don't realize it. You have to have friends tell you. This was what I was walking into. So when she greeted me at the door, she was also with her older sister. Her older sister came over, and for the sake of the video, I don't even remember her name, but I'm just going to use a random name. Sophia. Let's say her sister's name was Sophia. She said to me, "Hi, my name's Sophia, and I'm a choco latte mocha." Yeah. Yeah. Dead silence. What do you say to that? What, I you can't see me right now, but I'm just in shock again. Like, what? Caramel mocha frappuccino? What? And then she explained to me like a minute later. She's like, "Oh, I take a lot of, like online quizzes to see what kind of food items you are, what kind of drink you are." At this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I could kind of see it making sense, but I'm still like, that's fucking weird. But at the same time, I'm like, whatever. I was just confused. So then I'm like, all right, cool. So we sit down, we start talking to her for a little bit, and it just, I should have left at this point because I knew it wasn't going to be a good night, but for some reason I kept staying. We sat down at the kitchen table, and at the time, one of the Purge movies just came out, and there was a scare that in our area in Wisconsin, there was going to be some purge event happening, which, if you don't know what the purge is, it's basically 24 hours where basically you don't have to follow any laws. So you can commit whatever crimes you want, such as murder, and the government can't punish you. Now, listen to that, right? This fictional movie. If someone tried that in real life, the government's not shutting down, right? Technically it is when I'm recording this video, but, you know, most of the time the government is up and running. You are not going to be able to get away with murder, right? Or anything. And by the way, I know when the government shut down, you can't get away with murder right now. I'm not stupid, but I just thought that was funny that I'm bringing that up now. But anyways, so she and her sister are getting super scared. They're like, we're afraid it's going to happen. We don't want to leave the house. What happens if someone comes and kills us? And for a second, I thought they were like joking, just trying to like get my reaction. So I call her sister out. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, why would it happen? Only crazy people would think that. Like, thinking she's joking. And she starts tearing up a little bit. And she's super afraid of it. And she starts like bawling her eyes out. And then the girl I was talking to just looks at me and like, look what you did. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I just like was like, haha, like that wouldn't happen. Don't worry about it, right? And trying to be the man I was like, you know what? If someone comes here, I got you guys, right? Don't worry about it. You got a dog, you got me, we're good. So at this point, the girl I was talking to tried to be as slick as she could. She's like, all right, well, we're going to go downstairs now. I'm like, yes, about time. Let's get it. So we walk down there. She gives me a little tour of the place. Her dad was a hunter that I found out when I was there. He had a lot of dead animals on the wall. And I, at one point, just wanted like to grab a gun and just end it all for me for a second. But we walked around. Then we went to the couch. And we sat down. And she's like, what do you want to do? You know, giving that slight little question, what do you want to do? And in my head, I'm like, you know what I want to do. But I just say, whatever you want. So she starts playing video games. And this is a very attractive girl. And I didn't know she played video games, but she pulled out Red Dead Redemption 1 and just started playing. I'm like, oh, cool, sweet, we can play together. And she's like, oh, no, sorry, we only got one controller. I was like, okay, we can take turns. No big deal. So we're sitting down there, and she's playing for like a half an hour, just like super into the game, not really talking. And so her dog is like on the ground next to us. So I go sit by the dog and start playing with the dog. And she hasn't said a word to me at this point for like 10 minutes. The second I go sit by the dog, she pauses the game and like does one of those slow lookovers to me. And it's just like, what are you doing? Playing with her dog. What does it look like I'm doing? She's like, that's weird. Okay. Like, you're playing a solo video game. You sent me a message saying your parents aren't home. Wink, wink. You brought me over here, right? Your dog almost killed me on the way in. Your sister's a lunatic saying she's some iced beverage and she's afraid that a fictional movie is going to kill her. Then you bring me down here, show me around that your dad kills everything. Then you start playing a video game. Not only that, but by yourself. And then you don't want me involved whatsoever. But I'm the weird one here. I'm doing something that if any other person looked at would be like, I'm crazy, right? I should have at this point understood that she was a little crazy. But you know what? I just was like, all right, well, I'll watch you play then. I get it back on the couch. I watch her play for like 5 minutes. I'm like, hey, you should hand over the controller. And she didn't. She kept playing. She's like, oh, I need to beat this boss first. Like, okay. Well, where's your bathroom? I'm going to go to the bathroom. So went, took a piss, you know. I didn't really want to go watch her play a video game. So I just kind of walked around down there, played with the dog for a little bit. And then I went to go like check all the animals her dad killed. Because he had a lot of like deer heads up there and stuff. And she paused the game again, found me back there, came over to me and was like, what are you doing back here? I'm like, oh, I'm just waiting until you're done playing video games. She's like, but why are you in this back room? As I'm like looking at his stuff, so it's pretty obvious what I'm doing back here. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm literally avoiding you, right? This night couldn't go worse, but you know what? Whatever. I'll act like you're not crazy. Went back to the couch. At this point, the pizza guy came, so we went up. We ate some pizza, brought it back down, and then she started playing video games again. And at this point, I have like a half an hour probably until I have to go. And I say this to her. I'm like, yeah, I probably have to head out in a half an hour. And so she pauses the video game. She's like, oh, we should watch some Netflix then. And then kind of like looks at me. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fucking great. Let's do it. So she turns on the lights, and then she turns on the show called Bob's Burgers. And think of a long couch. I was on one side of the couch, not all the way on the end, but like not in the middle. She sat herself all the way at the other end, like literally hugging the other end, like she was grabbing onto it for her life when the show started. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, you're so hit and miss, you're so crazy. What are you doing? I like look at her for a minute, not believing, like, is this some joke? Like, what's going on? So then I kind of start moving over a little bit more, kind of showing her, but she's not moving. And in my head, I'm thinking, right, I can't like go all the way over to her, because then I'm like pinning her in the corner, and that looks a little weird, and I'd feel a little wrong doing that. So I'm just kind of hoping she comes over a little bit. It's like if she didn't want to hang out, so be it. But she was pretty obvious that she wanted to hang out. I couldn't think of anything that would get her to come over. So kid you not, one point I just like looked at her, looked at the couch, and like she was a dog, I tapped the couch like to come over here, and then she like threw herself at me. She like jumped over to my side of the couch, and then like put her head on my lap. I'm like, okay, I can work with this. And yeah, then that happened for like 5 minutes, and then literally as I'm about to leave, because I need to leave soon, I hear a scream upstairs, and we both go run upstairs, see what the scream is. It's her sister, of course, because she's always causing problems. And she let the dog out. And since I said they lived in the country, a lot of flies come in when they let the dog out. So they got these big old horse flies flying around the kitchen. And for the last, 15 minutes before I had to leave, instead of, watching Netflix, which you literally said that you wanted to do, and your parents were out of town, you had me come over. Instead of all that, I'm upstairs swatting flies like it's some family event until I leave. And at this point, I was just so demoralized. I didn't even, I was disappointed. I wasn't upset. I was just disappointed, because at this point, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm not really talking to any other girls right now, but what is this? What does this mean? And I was kind of at the point where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to talk to anyone else. If it fizzles out, it fizzles out. Whatever. So she walks me out. She awkwardly goes in for this hug/kiss thing. So we just hugged. I didn't care at this point. And by the next day, she was talking to a dude on the football team. So yeah, that's that story. If you guys did enjoy, feel free to smack the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hopefully with some more stories to tell you, because I got plenty.